Welcome to the South Ops Fire Weather Webcast for Monday, March 23rd. I'm your host, Kristen Stewart. Even though we just turned the page into the spring season a few days ago, it continues to feel like summer across most of California. High pressure remains in control, but luckily it is a bit weaker than it was last week, so it will not be as hot. Though that is not saying much, considering that we will still be yearning for cooler temperatures and, of course, rain. Those type of conditions are not in the cards for us this week, unfortunately. A weak area of low pressure off the coast of Baja has allowed the marine layer to deepen a little across the south coast this morning, with low clouds spreading across much of the coastal plains. Some areas will be sluggish to clear, but abundant sunshine will once again be on tap on this hot March day. With very little change in the overall weather pattern this week, it is no surprise we will also be seeing little daily change in temperatures. Temperatures will remain 10 to 20 degrees above normal through the weekend, with highs across most of the lower terrain in the mid-80s to low 90s, except for around 100 in the low desert. Overall, it will not be quite as hot as what we saw last week with the record-smashing temperatures, but it will still feel very summer-like and quite uncomfortable nonetheless. Unlike last week, daily or monthly record highs are not expected this week, which is a bit of a relief. Very little daily change is also expected in humidity as we remain in a persistent high-pressure dominated weather pattern. Afternoon minimums will largely range in the teens and 20s for most areas away from the coastline. The deserts and higher Southern California peaks will of course be drier with minimums in the single digits. During the overnight hours, poor humidity recoveries will be common across the deserts and portions of the Southern California mountains. Humidity near the coastline will remain higher as light onshore flow will remain common. The marine layer will remain very shallow each day, with night through morning low clouds and fog, mostly isolated to the coastal plains. With high pressure firmly anchored across the western U.S. and no inside slider activity expected, winds will be light overall through the weekend, exhibiting typical diurnal and terrain-driven trends. Some localized breeziness is expected across the higher terrain and deserts at times. A pattern change is finally on the horizon as we move into next week. We will finally see the dominant high-pressure weekend and a troughing pattern return, bringing back cooler temperatures and a deepening marine layer. We might even get a return of some precipitation by the second half of next week as well. It is too early for any details, but please stay tuned to the forecast. The continued trend of very warm and dry weather over the past several weeks has allowed for the significant drying of all classes of dead fuels to well below seasonal normals. 100-hour dead fuel moisture across many PSAs have dropped to record levels for this time of year and are approaching the 20th percentile or lower. More lowering is expected this week. Despite the very dry dead fuels, the landscape continues to be dominated by live fuels, which are allowing large fire potential to remain very low overall. However, the warm and dry weather has led to rapid curing of lower elevation grasses. Since grasses are not fully cured out yet, and heavier brushes remain green in providing a barrier to fire spread, initial attack activity will likely continue to be limited to small grass fires this week. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Our next webcast will be on Wednesday, March 25th. Have a fantastic day.